This must be it. The basement door is weather-worn. The copper nails holding the upholstery in place have turned. You knock silently. The upholstery...
I guess no one is in? Let's be honest. This isn't what I joined the Elysium for, but every day tells you something new about yourself. Apparently, working with the local union boss to get info on an investigation is not something I'm squeamish about. If the Merc Tribunal happens before we solve this, we are looking at casualties. What's one unlocked door compared to that? On the other hand, we could just leave and tell Evrart we opened the door. No one seems to be tailing us to see if we actually did it. Yes, presenting a fabrication is known to get results here and there. You took this task. You make the call.
The door is right here. You can just open it and be done with this. The leather upholstery is worn and rough against your jaw. In fact, it's oddly silent in the yard around you. You try to be as silent as you can. Finally, the door unlocks. The sound of the key turning still echoes. There might be important information. As you hold the open door, you can... A row of mugs sits on the shelf. Each one depicts a little ring. Though there's something disdainful in the way it looks like the artist is celebrating diversity. But underneath, he's just making fun of these people. You ain't gonna change someone. The lieutenant picks up one of...
I'm beginning to feel better about breaking into this man's apartment.
Yes, your broken mug friend would feel very...
There's the missing tin soldier. Whoever lives here, and now they've drawn the ire of the...
An interesting little clue. Let's see where this goes. Clues have a way of magically connecting to other clues.
Who knows? I'm not expecting too much from these clothes in the trash.
You could ask Evrart who this person is. This is the flag of Revachol, the suzerainty.
mister. Absolutely. I'm always willing to help out nice fellows.
Mr. Dubois, every worker... Hey, why the hell not? Now, how can I help you today? I'm very glad to hear that, Harry. One question. You didn't actually happen to stumble in and see what's inside the apartment?
He's trying to figure out if you're lying.
You're right, Harry. You only had to unlock the door, which you did. So we're all good here.
He was testing you, and you succeeded.
Now let's get down to brass tacks. It's time for men like me and you to figure out who's killed who and why. Real police work is gonna start happening now. I promise you, Harry, this is gonna be good. By now, I'm sure you've figured out who the dead man was working for. The bad guys. Wild Pines. Harry, this strike is the culmination of many, many mistakes made by the Wild Pines group. They tried to shut the strike down by sending in armed mercenaries.
You mean our victim?
A security contractor? Can you imagine that? Workers standing in peaceful protest, united in the spirit of fellowship, and they send hired killers to mow us down with machine gun fire?
He performs a motion as if spraying bullets from a machine gun.
I'm talking beasts. Hardened killers from proxy wars in Yisut, Semenine, Saramaritsa, you name it, they've done it. Raping, kill, everything they did there, they brought over here. They want to turn Revachol into a third world slum. Honestly, the only thing they didn't do is kill the village elephant. No, Harry, the elephant is metaphorical and so is the village, but the mercs... And now, I haven't personally witnessed the brutalities out there. I have the luxury of staying in my container, you see. If I need to go somewhere, they just move my container. Yes, I'm an old man, Harry. My legs aren't what... But enough about me and my fun container. The killers the company hired, I think one of them got downright suicidal. Getting drunk, violent, a little rapey. Even their own negotiator couldn't control him.
By negotiator?
Harry, what you need to realize is, we dock workers are not... We got grit, Harry. This whole neighborhood does. Push us hard enough and we push back. And when we do, we push to kill. There's a militant wing inside the Union. A group of people whose duties don't involve manual labor, but peacekeeping in the...
That sounds a bit like...
They're like you guys. Idealistic people who want to make sure bad things...
Again, that's...
So these ideally...
One day Titus Hardy, leader of this peacekeeping faction, comes up to me and says, "Boss, socialist democratic fervor drove us to..." He probably worded it differently, but that was the idea. Sure sounded to me like they killed him.
Aren't you worried we might arrest them for this?
Oh, I'm not at all worried about that. These are not the kind of men who get arrested. They're Martinez boys, tough and gritty.
He places a lot of faith in that lawyer girl. Perhaps this is a tactical error? Anyway.
How do I know? Let me tell you about these people. Last winter, some poor workers in Terminal E went on a little strike. The company sent in Sediment, a security contractor. The strike was over the workers' right to wear protective footwear, Harry. These guys turn up and start beating people. Tell you what, Harry, I wouldn't be surprised if we got the same mercenary company after a little rebranding. And I'm sure as hell not
So you believe the scabs were organized by the security contractor?
You said it. Hell, one of those guys looks big enough to take down that proverbial elephant. Boys like that don't just happen to show up during strikes. Of course. You're always one step ahead of me, Harry. I'm no genius. I'm in this position because people like... Tribunal? That sounds serious, Harry. We union men should be shitting ourselves. I wish you hadn't told me that. Oh, Harry, what do I really think about the tribunal? You're trying to climb to second base.
He wants you to do more things for him before.
Oh, Liz is a bright one. I paid for that law degree myself, thinking it'll probably turn her all fancy. But hell, Harry, she came back a
Wait, the girl by the whirling, who was keeping an eye on you. Is he talking about her?
I did that, didn't I? She thinks of herself as a guerrilla fighter. These middle-class kids and the books they read are crazy, Harry. I think she would rather be an insurgent than a lawyer. I hope it's a phase. Oh, they are simply fine young men, all 7 of them. Exemplary. Old Theo used to run them, but things really kicked into gear when Titus took the reins and they...
Interesting. Who's second in command?
They're almost all of them great guys, born leaders. Whatever happened, work with them. Hell, interview them. But don't fight them. They really are just like...
He's betting on them being useless to you.
But of course, it's the least I can do for my good friend Harry.
You can now go and tell Titus about this.
Also, Harry, here's 5 real. I'm not giving you anything. I'm just holding out 5 real. Oh, I wasn't offering it to you, just holding it out there. But I'm willing to share information. Was there anything else? Was it a good talk? I'm not sure we made much headway here. I was hoping we'd bust the case wide open. I don't know what happened, Harry. I wanted you to feel like Mr. Martinez. And of course, I also wanted you to find... Yes, Harry. It's like I can't fully trust you if you're not...
A man of the left. So you have to be a social democrat.
What does your heart tell you about your lost gun, Harry? Does it tell you to...
And what would this entail?
Once again, I require nothing unethical or illegal of you. You just need to get 2 little signatures on this piece of paper, and then mail it to my accountant in Liddell. I'm glad you asked, Harry. The Union is going to build a modern youth centre in Martinez. It will be righteous. There's a nameless little street on the coast with some old houses around it. Most people have already signed. On the coast, Harry, across the canal. There's a cul-de-sac there, a little village.
Water drips from the eaves. A woman looks at her freshly tarred skiff. There's a pair of cavalry boots under the...
They are just going to have to deal with the construction noise for 6 months, and then they'll be living like kings. Right next to...
Is he absolutely sure the tenants won't be thrown out in the street?
Am I? Harry, these people, we're going to build a youth centre there. The value of their properties goes up, and kids have...
It depends. I don't think what we just got from Mr. Clare was very useful.
As I said, it weighs on me heavily. But once we get really talking, well, I'm going to hand you the keys to Martinez. And maybe even...
He's saying as little as possible, as vaguely as he can, deliberately omitting things.
You bring joy to my heart, Harry. You need to get signatures from Isabel Sadie and Lillian Carter. The cul-de-sac is right past the pawn shop and across the canal. I hear there is some trouble with the waterlock. Once you have the signatures, mail this to 13022 La Rocca in La Delta. Then we can talk about your gun. Most certainly, Harry. By all means, Harry. What's on your mind? What? Did I? Well done then, Harry. I don't even want to know what all of that means. Brew, shady, alcohol. See you soon.
You take the legal documents out of the envelope. A 12 to 40 month. There is no loophole. The simple truth is the current residents are going to lose their street access, and for the next 12 to 40 months, their lives will be dominated by constant construction noise right next. Once the construction starts, it'll probably take a few months, a year maybe, for even the most stubborn occupants to get tired of living like this. After that, they'll sell their property.
I should have seen it. Evrard probably has eyes on us, but we could try to get other people to sign this instead of those listed. Or you could... However, we'll need access to the coast before we do anything. Evrard won't believe you got villager signatures if you can't even get to the village. You can try a forgery as soon as we can cross the...
The youth center cuts into the ocean like the bow of some great modern ship. It's going to be awfully close to the already existing buildings, almost wall to wall. An intricate web of blue. It still kind of looks like a map of the stuff for you to discover. Someone who knows about history. Gone.
Yes?
race descent has only worsened since I last saw you. You have really let yourself.
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you?
Right to work! Right to work! Shame on you!
Don't think so.
Silence. He takes hard as a stone.
Fucking loincloths. Really did him in. Yeah. What it means.
In what must have been Seminine.
I can tell you what this one means. Only one. You want to hear what happened here? Our colonel is deep in the bush here. Deep in the fucking bush.
Manito is one of the inhabited islands of the Seminese.
He spent a month behind enemy lines, scouting kipped villages. Nothing but fucking bugs and snakes for fun. Men.
With some strange emotion. This is about to get really graphic. Last moment to back off.
Our boy. He's only a captain then, but he knows how these men think. At dawn, he comes upon two kids. We shot the boy. He was useless, but the girl, she was nice. A little fat, you know. She was quite the entertainment for the week she lasted. Expired in the hands of Sarge Mason. God. Drowned in a creek a week.
Something stirs in your stomach.
No. I was in the domain. In Jamrock. Being a bouncer. Fucking mask is getting sweaty. I want to take my mask off. But go ahead.
All right.
On the photo in your hands, the dead man's skin is... The woman is still hot.
Huh? What is it?
I saw you poking around in Lady Driver's lorry. She in trouble? Nah, man. I was telling you the truth. I really didn't think it'd be her.
So that's what that emotion was.
Nothing.
What else do you know about her?
It's that bad. Man, what should I do? What should I do to help her? Yeah, maybe I should just keep my head down and work on my rhymes while I can.
The man taps his fingers rhythmically against his arm. Your best verse.
That's brutal, man.
No, stop. He's already mortified.
That's,
In the name of God, what are you doing?
Yeah, I get that, and it's cool, but... Yeah.
He's not lying.
Yes, and I also thank you for stopping. We have a murder investigation.
I've got nothing to say to you.
It's you again. What is it? Oh, so you went and talked to him.
And what's gonna happen if we don't? You're gonna go and tell on us?
Yeah, I heard him. Let me state this very clearly, Capo.
But having Everard back you up like that did seem to have some effect.
Again, just get the
Good one, Titus.
Are you deaf? There will be no... Do you think...
A trick question. Don't let her lead the conversation.
Who do you fucking think does?
It wasn't a...
This asshole is worse.
I think.
Yes, there are some administrative
About fucking time.
Oh, hello, dear. There you are again.
Can I help you? Do I have a shaker in my hand?
It's not a shaker. It's
Am I smiling?
because he's not a bartender.
That's right. I'm the cafeteria.
Play it calm. This man needs to understand you.
Like what?
The man ponders his cooking utensils and gives you a little nod. He looks up at you. Shrugging isn't into. You see a heavy steel. The door does not. The door does not. The cobalt blue. Old cobalt paint. Rough on the... It leads to a side building. Adjacent to this one. The old building next to this. Half.
Kuno the fuck about it? Your tech.
Get lost.
Yeah? The kingdom of Kuno. Yeah, whatever. Kuno doesn't give. Kuno doesn't.
An old call box with a matrix of push buttons lists all the companies in the East Delta Commerce Center.
Is this about the questions again? Because a warehouse? I don't know. Maybe. I don't really care what Frit does.
She looks up from under her brow.
Fine. Frit doesn't have a warehouse. Just a little back room here. Okay?
Looking for something odd?
Everything's still cool here.
G'day to you, officers.
Hello, hello. Let me know if I can help you with anything. I doubt it, but I can try and answer any questions you may have. I do my best to keep my distance from all men.
He doesn't know anything.
The corpse behind the hostel, I assume. I don't have a truck with them. Ask around the harbour. There might be some work.
The pawnbroker's gaze is already fixed on the dancing colours.
Someone else came here earlier today asking the same question. I promptly sold her the gun you pawned a couple days back.
This is a pawn shop, and it did feel as the lieutenant shifts from one foot to another, alert.
You were adamant about getting rid of it, officer. Said you were undeserved, and I don't like keeping guns around the shop for long. She didn't seem like a policeman, although she kept referring to herself as if truth be told.
Right, so let me get this right. You sold your sidearm, issued by the citizens' militia, and now a civilian is running around the streets of Martinez with it? You're right that she could cast aspersions on the force. We have to find her.
My apologies, officer.
A needle in a haystack. There is nothing you can do about it right now. You'll just...
Maybe. Shady-looking guys came in here yesterday, looking like they'd just taken off their Wild Pines overalls. They went their way. It was a trip.
Wait, then it might be true. Everard's claim.
Maybe Claire really is tracking down your gun.
People as oleaginous as Everard seem like they're lying, even when they're really being truthful.
Of course. Sure thing. Sure, man.
Son, you've really let yourself go. It's a disgrace. But Coach Physical Instrument is going to get you back in prime condition.
Vigilance officer? Yes, the Debardeurs Union. I'm an old man. Don't sleep more than a few hours every night anyway, and money is tight. Yes, it does. Unfortunately, I wasn't working that night. Been on a 2-week leave since last Monday. No one. The boss has been unmanned since last Monday.
No one has been guarding the container yard.
Yes! It's...
Look, officer. The container yard doesn't actually need a guardsman. Never had one before, René.
The possibility of someone being in there is a...
Everard created this job for René because he knows the Royal Carabiniers' pension of honor and PTSD isn't something a man can live off. A decorated Kingsman collecting tear reflects bad on the whole neighborhood. His words.
Look, officer, can we conclude the topic of my guard? She is nobody. This is none of your concern.
The lady is Jeanne-Marie Beaulieu, and she sure as hell wasn't a nobody.
Yes, like I said, it would be up anyway, so might as well keep an eye out.
What's this? We're getting reports of normal, reasonable, must have been a false...
Yes.
René, hello, officer. How might I... Oh, sweet Jenny. She was the finest...
Do not defile her memory, Gaston. Let her rest in peace.
We knew her, all right. Lived on the same street. She was René's first girl back when the prick was 16. They were courting till he decided he'd rather die for some...
And then you stole her from me.
Oh, officer. It already got ugly near...
You stole her from me.
Well, technically, you stole her from me, because...
We were just boys then. No point starting this all over again.
She died of pneumonia 2 winters ago. René and I were both...
Died. No use sugar.
Departed. Until the very end she couldn't decide. She could never make up her mind about anything. What to have for breakfast? She was always leaving one of us for the other, but never long enough to actually get married. Heck, technically, we're both still engaged.
You're always confused there. Couldn't let us be happy.
Of course, officer. Memories are all we have left. Let me think. I heard someone was hanged and left on a tree for a week. But that's all I know, really. No, officers,
Then help them, you wimp.
He means
I wish I could, but I just don't know him.
Odd. He doesn't seem to be lying, but there's something off here.
I'm not even anyone.
Of course he's holding back. His mouth is so full of union prick he can't even speak.
Can I at least finish my fucking sentence before you piss on it? Is that okay, René? I'm not anyone impotent. Everyone in Martinez knows the
What do you know about history? You never witnessed history.
The old soldier. There he stands.
Let's try not to get caught in a cross.
Oh, in many ways, yes. Like an honorary member. I attend meetings and... Oh, yes. Not in the technical sense. I don't have a vote or a membership card.
So that's what it was before. Him hiding something. He tries to make it look like he's a big deal in the Union, and now the illusion is disintegrating before. He doesn't know anything, cause no...
Of course he's not a member. He's not a... I hate this socialist rabble, but even...
Writing work mostly. Occasionally, he needs... Oh, nothing official, I assure you.
Well, he tells his little pen man exactly...
That's why Gaston isn't a Union member. Everard needs a neutral party to speak his ideas.
On the Union track? I don't even consider myself a regular socialist. Politics is not really something I involve myself in, officer. Officer, I have a vivid imagination.
He just fluffed.
Of course. Don't sink into anything. Don't sink into any fight. Only sink into your...
I prefer highly adaptive...
Mon Dieu.
No, thank you. Oh, that's the cochonnet. You'll put...
I don't like where this is going, officer.
Officer, the mere sight of police in Martinez... I'm sorry, officer.
The sandwich, in addition to the obvious slice of ham, a fat one.
Oh, that's good. That's very good. You must have other business then?
Yes?
This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk-drawn number, no reply. It's a solid lump of metal, but the shackle... Better whip out those cutters. You won't get very far otherwise. This door has been closed with a padlock. The shackle snaps like...
After you.
A plaster cast bust depicts a middle-aged man with impressive sideburns.
The White Star, the photos on the wall. I think we have broken into the apartment of a young communal.
You hear someone walking around inside. The walking stops. Sounded like a woman. A poor communard from the looks of it. The room is barely...
Let's go. We don't have...
It's generally easier to do things if you...
Give me a moment. The cold never does any good for my bronchitis. I'm fine. Fine. Now, what do you want?
She's the cleaning lady. She knows the floor plan and the residence.
I'm no one. Just an old woman. If you can call it living. It's barely bigger than a closet. But I don't complain, no.
And all she gets, too. The coastal wind beats. She hasn't spoken to anyone for a while. Even her sentences feel rusty.
Yes, yes. I know who you mean. The scrawny boy who...
Somewhere in the building, a child starts crying.
What's he in trouble for? Talk?
What was so funny about...
He lives upstairs in room 28. Go to the balcony. It's one of those doors there. He's usually home in the evening.
Thank you.
Ask away, policeman. People come and go.
They probably just moved. Or
No one lives there. It's been empty for... Impossible. I would know if someone had moved. Maybe it's those countercultural people again. Breaking into a house like it's a pub. Great. Young people. Oh, that one is a scientist. I think he studies astrology. Something to do with all those stars around his door. He asked me to leave his drawings up on the wall. That's what I said.
The lieutenant shakes his head as...
Oh, no.
In your hands, you hold, indeed, the book you flip through. Real art is dead. The back cover is done. She can't be much older than a mid. A shift in temperature. The air chills around you. A former architect stands before a slice of window.